Hi everyone, I'm Odette from Wawiwa Tech, a global tech education provider offering AI-proof reskilling programs and upskilling courses aligned with the latest industry trends. One of our most popular programs is the Digital Graphic Designer program, a 6-month journey that helps people with no prior background become job-ready designers. Today, we'll explore how AI is transforming digital graphic design and hear from Ynon Oren, head of Wawiwa's Digital Graphic Designer program, who will share insights on what it takes to thrive as a designer in the AI era. And how are you?
I'm fine with that. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here with us today.
My
So,
pleasure.
to start off, can you tell us about yourself and your experience?
Okay. Well, when usually I need to present myself professionally, I always start with, I still haven't decided what I want to do when I grow up. So I'm kind of like a jack of all trades. I do graphic design, animation, game development, coding, and this is basically my focus today. But when I was a kid, like I started with, I really loved cinema. I really loved cinema, art, computer, and gaming. And my only true formal education is when I went to TAU and film school and I studied there. I really wanted to be a film director when I was a kid. And then when I studied at the film school, I found out that I really enjoy combining computer with cinema. So I decided to go to specialize in VFX, which is visual effects, and animation. So then I started focusing on a software that is called Adobe After Effects. Turned out that there was a very big demand for those skills, and I started working in promo departments on major TV channels and production company. And that's where first time I noticed the importance of graphic design. It was really like kind of a shock to me, a blind spot, because I never thought about graphic design as a thing. I know it existed, but I was more into the directing, art, and I never thought about this field as a focal point. But when I started working in it professionally, I discovered that almost everything in animation and in VFX, especially when you deal with promos and ads and commercial stuff, graphic design is one of the major focal points of this field. And I basically didn't know anything about it. I know very little. But luckily, I worked with a lot of professional and dedicated designers and animators who were very kind and very patient with me. And it was sort of a second school. I worked and learned on the job graphic design.
That's the best. So you learned by doing.
Yes, yes, but it's not easy. And it's very, very, very long process. And that's why I think that like our courses, when I write them, when I think about them, what I'm trying to do is make the process shorter and easier than learning on the job, which is great, but it can be also very, very long process.
Okay, so you told us that you are now working in digital graphic design, but can you explain to us what it is actually and what actually characterizes the people who are good in this field?
Well, that's it's a very big question, but graphic design is about communicating visually messages. using visual imagery to communicate messages. And usually when I teach, when I get to this question with my students, I use a comparison with art to try to illustrate my point. Both art and graphic design are way to communicate messages, visually, audio, by touch, by almost any way. So why aren't they the same? Because it's not about the medium, it's not about the creation itself, it's about how it's perceived. When people look at a work of art, if it's a good art, it's provoke an emotional response. And you can have 200 people looking at the same piece of art and you can get 200 different reactions or 200 different insights from this work of art, and that's fine, that's okay. But when people looking at a piece of graphic design, we want the message that it conveys to be the same. We want the people not to be open to interpretation, but we want the message to be consistent with as many people as possible, usually the target audience. And that's why graphic design is also a commercial field, unlike art in most cases, because usually the message is buy this product, use this service, or adopt this idea. And we want this message to be uniform for all people who are targeted.
It's more for businesses.
Yes, definitely. It's more for businesses. And again, the way we judge it, a good art, it's okay to be open for interpretation. Good design shouldn't be open to interpretation. The message should be clear and should be the same for all the people in the target audience who see it.
Okay, so you told us the difference between art and graphic design, but a lot of partners worldwide, and including me myself, I don't really understand the difference between graphic design and UX UI. So is there a difference? And if yes, can you explain the difference?
Well, it's a very good question. The UX, UI, and graphic design are overlapping fields. I mean, they both have a lot of similar focal points, but they also have differences. So let's start with what is similar. Both of them deal with visual aesthetics. Both of them really cares about layout, typography, color theory, visual hierarchy. Both of them deal with brand consistency. Both of them deal with user engagement. These are, I think, the major things that are the same in UX UI and general graphic design, I call it. But what are the differences? So, first of all, the primary goal. Graphic design, like I said, it's to convey a message, to communicate visually. And UX UI design, it's all about enhancing user experience and usability, usually in interactive systems, like computer interfaces, applications, and all sorts of stuff. Now, in general graphic design, our focus is visuals, might be static, might be animated, but they're non-interactive. I mean, usually the target audience, the user, if you want to call it, or it's not actually a user, it's a target audience, is just a viewer. He sees, and that's all his contact with the work. In UX UI, we're dealing with interactive system. The user is not only a watcher from the outside, is also participating in a process and the design reacting to his decisions. So we have here something that is super important, it's interactivity. The design need to be reactive. It need to change, to evolve. We're talking here about again interaction, which is sometimes more complex than simply looking at something. It's a little bit like the difference between watching a movie and playing a computer game. And
Right. So they share some same principles, but yeah, they have key
yeah,
differences.
yeah. So also the tools are, again, the tools are today are, we can see with AI that the tools are taking less space in the process, but UX UI usually uses today Figma, which is the main player in the UX UI field. Graphic design still rely heavily on Adobe softwares like Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, After Effects if you're animating, and so forth.
Thank you. And now I'm sure you probably asked or you talk about this topic a lot, but so moving to today's reality, actually, how has generative AI changed the work of graphic designers and the tasks performed in the job?
Oh, well. Uh, it's significantly changed it significantly. It's first of all, AI was for years part of the process in a relatively small way, like routine tasks in Photoshop, like cleaning backgrounds and generating images or identifying fonts were which like 15, 20 years ago were completely manual. And if you had a job that you had a model with curly hair and you needed to remove the background from her image, you needed to like have a week to do it.
We
Today,
don't even need models now.
yes. So it was always there and it was always evolving. So a lot of the routine tasks that junior designers, people who are not really designers, but more of a technical Photoshop artist, we call them, a lot of those jobs are really not needed now because you have computers that can do it faster. And usually they can do it in a very good way, but still you need to you need to have oversight on the process. And me personally, I always add some personal touch-ups after I give something to AI. But what does it mean? So first of all, really, we have a lot of automation and efficiency in our workflow. Jobs that used to be routine and repetitive, like take these 500 images, rescale them, clear the background. Those jobs are now can be done with AI really fast and with no hassle. It means also faster production cycles. We can do jobs like stuff that it takes days or weeks to do in the past. Today we can do it really fast. Also, and this is like really important, all the part of research, learning about your market, about your clients, creating color palettes, sketches, testing new ideas. AI can really help with that. The stuff, the design work, proper design work is iterative. You do it once, you take a look, you do it again, you improve it, test, you do it again. And AI can really help with this, make this process faster and shorter, because a lot of time you have an idea and you want just to see how it translates from your mind to your eye. So you need to sketch it visually, right? And this could be very much time consuming, but with generative AI, you can generate those sketches really, really fast and effective.
Yeah, in 2 seconds.
Also, it requires a new skill set from designers. Now, graphic designer was always work that I believe that 90% of the process is cerebral, is mental, is about understanding, is about researching, is about thinking, and the 10% is about creating the visual product. These 90% stay the same, but they're infinitely more important right now when we're working with AI. Why? Because you need to explain to the AI what you want. And the problem with AI, that's why I don't think AI is going to replace designers. The problem with AI, it doesn't have any common sense. It doesn't have any context for itself. And I know it from experience because I'm using AI a lot. And I always have to tune, tweak, and repair the work that AI is making because it doesn't have the human output. It doesn't have life experience, which is something that is super important for graphic designer because AI is, like we said, book smart. They know like every book ever written or every text, but it doesn't have a real life experience. It doesn't have the common sense. And that's where the designer steps in.
Right. You mentioned that 90% is mental and 10% is the actual practice. And I'm guessing that's what AI does, the rest of the 10%.
Even I would say that AI eventually, even though it looks like a lot, AI does from importance, not volume. Importance point of view, AI does something like, I think, 15% of the work because it always need to be oversighted, tweaked, and if you're not really careful with that, you can have terrible, terrible results, unsensitive, improper results, and this is something that always need to be oversighted by a human designer eye, I think.
Yeah, even for me, for example, when I generate a few images, I generate, for example, a girl and she has, let's say, 10 fingers on one hand. So
Yes.
human touch is always important. But would you be able to see AI as a threat? And I'm asking this because, for example, almost 90% of our design outsourcing at Wawiwa has been replaced by AI. So what do you
I
think?
don't think it's a threat. It's a threat. It's a transformative force. It's changes. It's like, like when Uber came, it's disrupted the taxi market. Yes. So yes, it's disrupting. It's changing. But at the core, the designer work remains the same. If we understand real designer job, it's not about being good at Photoshop or Illustrator. It's not about making things pretty or drawing. It's like we said before, design is about conveying a message, right? So the core of the graphic designer jobs is making decision, making informed, aware, conscious decisions that helps convey the message.
Mhm.
And this is something that we can't trust AI to do, because of what I said before. It doesn't have the life experience, it doesn't have common sense, and most notably, it doesn't have context. We can write a very long prompt that says we want exactly this and this and this and this and this, but still, you, I never got it right on the first time. I always needed to try again and again and again, and then I needed to take it into Photoshop or Illustrator and tweak it and fix it. And the designer role, actually, it's like this. Think about it. Before AI, you had like a art director who was the strategic thinker, yes? and he had the junior designer, the design students or the outsourcers who did the routine tasks, right?
Mhm.
So those are replaced by AI, the routine tasks. But the strategic thinking, the understanding, the real research, this is something that you still need to have the human touch in it.
Mhm.
So I don't think it's changed a lot of things because even today, if you want to be a graphic designer, if you want to work as a graphic designer, you need to be good at it. You need to understand the job, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be a graphic designer just to use Photoshop to clean backgrounds or I don't know, to resize images,
Of
right?
course, that's replaced already. We talk about
Yes.
different stuff.
So even before AI, people who were good at graphic design were the strategic thinkers, were the people who understood the principle of visual communications, who knew how to make research, who understood uh, how to talk to a client. Okay, try to imagine AI talking to one of your graphic design clients. It would be
What is that?
yes.
For now, maybe in a few years from now, who knows?
Uh,
Um,
I still, again, I don't think so. AI can't really read a room, you know. Sometimes, a lot of time when you talk to a client, you can see when he likes something, when he dislike it, when he hesitated, and it's a lot about reading between the lines, something that AI definitely don't do in my experience.
right. Right. Okay, let's see. Let's see what the future holds.
Yeah,
And
definitely. What I'm saying here is my opinion. I'm not by any chance any
of
big
course,
expert on the future of AI.
of course. And for now, which AI tools do you use for graphic design in your daily work, and which ones are your favorites?
Well, for graphic design, it really depends. First of all, again, I use mostly, even with the graphic design tools, I use a lot of the Adobe Firefly, the built-in tools within Photoshop, within Illustrator that let me streamline my work, cleaning background, generating simple images, or adding stuff to images. But my main usage is not with this, is when I trying to think about what's the right thing to do. I'm trying to learn about a client. I'm doing research. So I use a lot ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, all the Gemini, all the general stuff. I really enjoyed, I think it's new. I don't know if it will be new when people will see the interview, but Nano Banana is
I haven't
excellent.
heard of that one.
It's a new, it's Google generative image tool. Right now it's free and it's very good. Also, I noticed that Adobe put in the Illustrator beta of
Mhm.
2025 a new tool called Turntable, which you can draw a character from front or from angle, and it can create the different angles of the
Oh,
character.
wow. Interesting.
Yeah, try it. It's very fun.
I
Very
will.
fun. But funny enough, my favorite AI tool is GitHub Copilot, which is a coding AI, because of the context thing. Because this tool is very specialized just to write code.
Mhm.
It's very easy to work with him and stay in context because you give him the code file and it's very easy to stay in line with AI. Usually, especially when you're using like ChatGPT or Pilot, you always have to make sure that he stays in context. He doesn't really learn from the specific conversation.
Mhm.
But with GitHub Copilot, it's like the closest thing to a straight line that I noticed. I really enjoyed working with.
Okay, okay. Haven't tried that either, but I will. And you mentioned that in the beginning of your career, I mean, you were more interested in cinema, etc. And then you ended up finding yourself in graphic design. You didn't study it, right? But you learned
Yes.
by doing from colleagues and peers. So, do you believe that anyone can become a digital graphic designer?
Well, technically, I think everybody can, but the real question is should everybody? I don't think. I think people who enjoy working in a visual field, who really enjoy aesthetics, are the people who need to be, who can be good graphic designers. Again, it's not just about drawing, it's about the thought process.
Mhm.
So technically to study graphic design, that's fine, that's okay. But to be a good graphic designer, I think you need to have a passion for it.
Mhm.
And this is something that,
That's the most important.
yes, because all, like, I believe that all the skills for most jobs is not just talent. If you're lucky, you have talent. If not, you can develop it.
Mhm.
I never know how to draw. I never really, I wasn't a good graphic designer when I started. I was pretty much terrible,
Mhm.
but I worked on it and I got better. But the question is, will you enjoy it? Will it be your passion?
Right.
And that I think is,
Okay, and as Wobi was head of the digital graphic designer program, can you tell us a few words about the program?
yeah, okay. So, like I said before, the program is based on my experience about the thing I should have known and needed to know when I started working. And the process of learning on the job is a hard one. It's not easy to learn. It's very effective, but it's long. Sometimes it's very it's very much stressing because you're working on real products, yes, with real clients, and sometimes they're not very nice. Sometimes they're stressed also. And it took me a very long time to learn what I need to learn and to get to the level that I wanted to get to. But when I wrote the program, I thought, how can I take my experience and frame it in a shorter time frame and put emphasis on employability, on the things that are most important to a client, to an employer when you are working, what are the things that are most important? What are the things you need the most to understand? And trying to make this process shorter, less stressful, and more productive. So I'm trying always to think about how the job looks today. So obviously,
And what employers are looking for?
yes, and obviously we need a lot of the new skills of AI, of using AI. We need a lot, but we still need to know to have the technical knowledge of how to use the softwares. And most importantly, we need to understand the principle of graphic design, which is a lot of not drawing or art, it's a lot of psychology, a lot of even sometimes neurology, and about how people perceive messages, how they process them, and how to do a proper research. Those things I believe are timeless skills. Those things will not be replaced by AI because that's where the human factor has a very strong advantage over AI because of the context, the common sense, the life experience. So that's the main emphasis of our program. and we can see it like the final product that the student creating the course are usually brands. They're creating packaging for a brand, a real one or an imaginative one that they created. But what they need to show is not only the logo or the ads, they need to show the entire process of what they did, the research, their insight, the sketches, each iteration. The process itself, it's super important.
And can they show this project to potential employers, for example, to find a job?
Definitely. Well, that's again, it needs to be good, yes, but that's our focus is to put the basis for a good body of work of usable skills of
Mhm.
products that are in demand, showing design for products that are in demand, showing skills that are relevant and necessary for today's market.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much, Ynon. And
My pleasure.
do you have any final words? What would you recommend to a potential student considering going for graphic design?
Well, first of all, go for it. But also, in my experience, you need to be ready to be a perpetual student because I always learn new things. The world is changing, graphic design is changing, technology is changing, and if you want to stay relevant, you need to always look for a way to upskill yourself, to hone your talents, your skills, and stay relevant.
Right. So life learning is the key.
Yes, constant learning.
Constant learning. Right. Okay. Thank you very, very much, Ynon. That was very
Very
interesting.
well.